Welcome back to Soul Food and Renee. I launched Soul Food and Renee with my faith, family, and food show. Faith is what drives this show. It's why I'm here. It's the catalyst to all I do. I have had amazing guests who, through this journey of life, shared with us how they live by faith. I am excited to continue to share my faith with you, along with others who inspire me, and of course, share with you some of my favorite recipes. I hope you enjoy the show. Today I'm sharing a delicious linguine recipe. The idea here is to keep this simple so that it can be paired with any type of meat or seafood. We are going to take 4 ounces of dried linguine, a 1/4 cup of butter, a teaspoon of minced garlic, a teaspoon of chopped parsley, a sprinkle of Parmesan cheese, and salt and pepper to taste. We're going to take a large pot of lightly salted water, bring it to a boil, cook linguine until tender, drain and transfer pasta to a large bowl. We're going to mix the melted butter, garlic, and parsley in a small bowl, drizzle over the linguine, and toss to coat. Season with salt and pepper. The simplicity of this recipe is what makes it the most delicious. You can get this recipe and all my recipes on www.soulfoodandrenee.com. Today I have with me Teresa Situ, and we are discussing love. The definition of love in the dictionary is an intense feeling of deep affection. However, love should not be seen just as a feeling. Rather, to love is to feel and act lovingly. Teresa, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thank you for having me, Renee. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh, we're shaking hands. That's formal.
Yes.
We can't get up and hug, but
no,
it's okay.
No, we can't, because you know I'm a huggy kind of person.
Yeah. So, Teresa, you know, you are a mom of 3.
Yes, I am.
You're in medical school.
I am.
You're a wife. You're a sister, a daughter. Mm-hmm. You've had many different roles in your life and different trials in some of those roles. Mm-hmm. However, my first question to you is, do you view love as an action?
I do. I think love truly is an action. To demonstrate love to someone is to basically to show them how much they mean to you by doing some type of act. Something as simple as, for example, being in medical school with 3 children. I'm very busy all the time, and some days the housework is number like 100 on the list, and I might have exams, and my husband will know that the house stresses me out sometimes, so he'll be so kind and to wash the dishes for me, and that is an action of love because he's doing something that he knows, excuse me, even though it may stress me out, even though he can wash the dishes for me to show me that, you know what, I'm supporting you and our kids for what you being called to do. Which
is amazing. And you know, I kind of just want to get into it because I know your story and I know how you love, and you know, I think it's your testament of just who you are. You are love in action.
Oh, thank you.
And I just,
too kind.
if you could, it's the truth. And if you could please just kind of give us, you have quite a story. We don't have that much time, but if you could give us some of the highlights of your life.
Of my life?
Of your life, in terms of where love was in action. I guess I'll just start with your mom.
My mom. So I'm the oldest of 5. And for various circumstances, unfortunately, my parents divorced when I was at a very young age. I was 5 years old, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My dad, you know, ended up having custody of us, and he demonstrated his love with the little finances that we have by the actions that he would do for us, and that's how I learned, you know, and love was what he did for us. He couldn't provide certain things financially, but then he would still try to provide in other ways, and you know, and our vacations would be up north or something like that, or we would go to the church. That was his way of showing love by, you know, sacrificing himself and what his dreams were to take care of 5 children under 5 years old and 1 with Down syndrome, and then and of course I ended up taking that mother role and at such a young age, and we just kind of struggled, and through the struggle we learned how to love and be close as a family. And we learned that you don't have to have a lot to have a lot.
Right.
And we
To be
lived
happy.
to be happy. We lived in a little 900 square foot home, no upstairs, no downstairs, and many times we didn't have a car. And but my dad never made us seem that we were missing out, because his love for us was greater than the material things of the world, and that made me and of course my siblings realize that, again, you don't have to have much in life to be happy and to be joyful, and just to show how much love you have and to give that love. Because when you have love, you can't just keep it inside.
Right.
You become so joyful and just so happy all the time that you just want to give it away, you know. And it's I remember growing up, people would tell my siblings, "Wow, you guys are so like high on life," and we're like, "Yes, because God is within us. The love that my father was able to give us was the love of God."
Right.
The simplicity of love.
Which nothing can buy in this world.
No, you can't. And the true definition of love is action, and God is love. So if you are doing an act of love, you're actually bringing God in the midst of any type of relationship. At the time of being young, it was between my father and his 5 children that he raised. So it was just...
God bless him. He did an amazing job. You know, you sent me a quote, and I don't like reading, but I want to read this so I don't, you know, mess it up. But it's a quote by St. Teresa of Calcutta, who I love, and I know you do too. And it said, "Wash the plate, not because it is dirty, nor because you are told to wash it, but because you love the person who will use it next." Very beautiful words.
It was very, very beautiful. And
so true.
So true.
And, you know, my question is, do you think love is a sacrifice? And do you view that word negatively?
Love is a sacrifice, and no, it's not negative. It's actually a very positive definition of love. I can give you another example. I'll use my brother. I have a brother that has Down syndrome. And when my parents found out that he has Down syndrome, at the time, you know, they didn't have really good ultrasounds. So he was born, and that's when they determined that he had Down syndrome. They wanted to get rid of him. People were telling my dad to get rid of him. People were telling my dad we should have had an abortion. People were saying put him in a group home. My dad stood up and he's like, "No, this is my child. This is my child. And how can you get rid of someone that is your own child? And I will take up whatever cross I have to, even with 3 other siblings at the time, and raise this son of mine to the norm." And he did. My dad did. He never treated him any differently.
None of you guys did, right?
No, we never did. I mean, having Down syndrome is such a gift. My dad sacrificed everything just to make sure that he, of course with us too, was given everything that every child at that age needed. Like, he never denied him going on trips. He never denied him having Halloween at school. He was mainstreamed a lot. Yes, he did have some differences. I mean, we had to learn, all of us, how to speak sign language. He had to have special ed classes. But the sacrifices that my dad had to go through to make sure that my brother, John, received the best life and received a normal life was unbelievable. My dad stopped working.
Wow.
He made sure that John went to every single one of his appointments, all of his IEP exams, which is like a developmental type of exam. He made sure we went to church every Sunday so that he, again, lived as close of a normal life as possible.
Do you think he taught you how to love more?
My dad and my brother, yes. Yeah. I wouldn't be as patient as I am without my brother John. Because of course, since he did have Down syndrome, he had a lot of developmental delays, and so I had to be patient with him when he learned how to write, or even as simple as getting dressed. He didn't learn how to really dress himself until he probably was like 8 or 9 years old. So I learned to be patient, and I remember when I was younger, and we were at Oakland Mall, and how he demonstrated love, how my brother John demonstrated love. He saw a group of other people about his age at the time. He was probably like tweens, like 12. Mm-hmm. And they were making fun of him. Oh, wow. They were making fun of my brother John, and they were teasing him, saying, the R word and all these things. But do you know what my brother did? He understood every single word. He went up to them and he gave them a hug. And he shook their hand and he said, "I love you," and they were shocked. They were shocked because they were like, we were just making fun of him. You know, I mean, how many of us could do that?
I just got the chills on
You know,
that story.
so he taught us the simplicity, the God love, the love of forgiveness, the love of, when it was action. Like he
That
showed
is love in action.
He walked over, you know, in Oakland Mall. It was like over the walkway, and
Right.
he went up to them. I remember them. It was during winter. I remember them till this day. They were wearing like bulky, jackets, and he hugged them and he said, "I love you" to them.
And what was their response?
Shock, utter shock. They couldn't believe it. They were probably silent for a few seconds. And then, they were like, they did the whole handshake,
Right.
like, the pounding, everything
Right.
like that. So, but then,
But that's how love changes people,
yes,
right?
it does. I mean, after that, I've never seen them, but who knows what kind of impact they had, when they went home and to their school. And that's love right there. Like, love doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to buy you a diamond ring.
Right.
Love is, acknowledging somebody and showing them that, hey, I care about you and I love you for who you are, and I forgive you for what you've done. And this is all things that we struggle as a society. And I learned a lot of that from my father and from my brother. So, I mean, how can I not be happy in life to see people, to see the joy that people can contribute? We're all weak.
To be truly surrounded by love like that is a true gift and blessing.
Exactly.
Teresa, thank you so much for being here with me today.
No
Anyone
problem.
that knows you knows the kind of love that you exude, and you are a true testament to these words.
I'm humbled to be here.
I can't thank you enough, truly.
Thank
Thank you. I gave a very simple recipe of linguine that could be used and shared with many other items. When we think of love, we must recognize how God has loved us first, and how we could share that love with all those around us without limitations. Thank you for watching. May God bless you, and may God's Spirit always bring light to your soul. See you next time.